And you know what
Yes.
better way to spend your weekend? Good friends, good food.
Yes, the both of you definitely have a passion for food. One person who I think has a passion for food, but more so a passion for helping others. Sheila Singam is a trainer and coach who helps other people unleash their potential to achieve success. Her company, Human Equation Sendirian Berhad, is in the business of imparting emotional and spiritual intelligence skills to corporations looking to maximize the potential of their workforce. And she's here today to share with us how we too can gain all important rapport building skills. Welcome, Sheila, to our studio again.
Well, yes, welcome back, Sheila. It's always good to have you.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes, because you empower us, you teach us these new skills. Now, first of all, what is building rapport? Is it not just like making friends?
Well, it's actually more than making friends because rapport is something you can build with anybody. You can walk into a room full of strangers to do a presentation and you can get into rapport with people there because rapport is actually essential to all communication. It's essential to the ability to influence other people, to get them to buy your ideas, for example. So rapport is just more than making friends. At the very, very deepest level, the definition of rapport is the recognition of and the willingness to share values with others. So it actually just goes deeper than the superficial, hello, how are you, nice to know you kind of thing. It's like when you recognize, you meet someone. You know, have you ever been to a party or something and met someone that you didn't know before, and then you suddenly just got really connected with them at a very deep level, found yourself telling them your whole life story, and they told you their whole life story, and you know it just went on like that. And then you, when the day was over and you had to go your separate ways, you felt a little bereft, and you said, how did I get really close to that person?
Yes.
That's an example of rapport.
Like I've known that person for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Is there a particular reason why some people are better at building rapports?
Well, I think it's to do, it happens at a very unconscious level in most cases. I'm sure you would have noticed that sometimes you just have this knack of really getting close to people and getting people to buy into your ideas and, and having a really enjoyable time with people. Some people just have that because at an unconscious level, they've actually honed that skill without sometimes even really knowing about it.
So speaking about skills in building rapport, are there any techniques to building good rapport?
Yes, in NLP, we always talk about the practice of matching and mirroring. Matching and mirroring is basically, it's sort of emulating the other person's vocal skills, the other person's physiology, and the other person's words. So basically it's matching and mirroring the physiology, which is body language and gestures and postures and all that. And then it's also the vocal skills, somebody's volume, their pace of speaking. Now, I'll give you an example. If you were talking to someone, you were talking very fast, just the way you ladies talk, right? Very upbeat and fast. And someone said, well, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah, that gels with me. Now, would you really gel with that? No, because there's a total mismatch in the speed of the speech. So, you emulate that. And also sometimes the words that people use. If someone's using particular words a lot and you match those words, you tend to be able to get into rapport with them faster. Now, the strongest, the best way of getting into rapport with someone is to match physiology. Now, ladies, look at the both of you.
Right.
Do you notice your legs are crossed?
Yep.
The same way.
The same way.
Yeah. So if you were to notice, my legs are also crossed underneath this long sari, and my hands are crossed, and your hands are crossed. You see?
Right.
So we are in rapport with each other. Right? So it's like a formula. When people are in rapport, they tend to become sort of more like each other in terms of the physiology and the way they speak. I'm sure you've noticed this. When you go around and mix with a bunch of friends who kind of use the same lingo, you kind of slip into that, right?
Yes.
And then when you're talking to a bunch of corporate people, let's say, you get sort of like formal and corporate. You're actually matching. You're matching.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. So you tend to naturally do that. So what we're saying now is that to get into rapport with someone, you consciously emulate or match and mirror their physiology or their tonality or their words, and you will find that you sort of get into rapport with them.
Now you're saying it's not so much what you say, it's not just what you say, but it's also how you behave. But don't I run the risk of being misinterpreted? Because when I'm nervous, it can come off as I'm lying or I'm hiding something, when actually I'm just nervous.
I suppose the thing is that you really need to be congruent in all your communication. Now, by congruent, I mean that the intention and what you're doing have got to be sincere. If I'm coming to you, let's say Shankari, and I just want something from you, not really interested in you as a person and communicating with you, and I'm just trying to do these things to get into rapport with you, as they say, ada niat, then it's not going to come across as congruent, and people are going to be able to see through that.
I have a very interesting question to ask you, because sometimes situations can be a bit different, and I'll be asking the question to Sheila right after this commercial break. Guys, don't go anywhere. And you are still watching Vbuzz. It's Ladies' Night with me, Shankari, and Juanita. And we have a guest. We had to have her back because she's just brilliant. Sheila Singam. And you were speaking about building rapport. Now, before we went off to commercial break, you were saying that you should be sincere with your intentions. Sometimes it is almost essential. You want something from a person. You are done yet, right? You want to get something done. And for me, I'm not the kind of person who beats around bushes. So how do I still speak to the person and ask them for something, be direct with them, and still have a rapport going on?
Well, being direct is always something that I would advocate, because people can see right through you if they sense that you are trying to beat around the bush and not coming directly to ask them, right? Now in NLP we also have a belief which we call projection is perception, meaning that whatever is inside of me, I'm projecting to you. So if I'm coming to you and I have this sweet little smile on my face and say, Shankari, can I ask you to help me to do something? But inside of me I'm like, you know what, I really don't like this person. It's going to come across. And those make signals. Because here's the thing. Behavioral psychologist Albert Mehrabian, he did studies where he found that 55% of our communication is through our physiology. Another 38% is through our voice, our verbal, voice tone and volume and things. And another 7% is the words. That's not to say words are not important. Words are very important. But if you look at this entire equation, the strongest way to get into rapport with someone is actually to match their physiology. Right? So basically, if you don't have the sincerity, I would say don't try building rapport with someone, because it's just going to come through as being very insincere, and you're going to be projecting it on the person. Now, I don't know, Shankari, if you noticed that I've actually gotten into rapport with you. I've been matching your physiology very subtly. Did you notice that?
Oh, like we're crossing the hands the same way?
Yeah, that's right. And our legs are crossed.
The same way?
The same way. And our posture
are the same.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a simple way, and it's a very subtle way of doing it. You didn't notice, right?
No,
she didn't notice. But what does that do to her?
That sort of pulls her into deeper rapport with me, because you see, it's like there's a mirror image. We're mirroring each other.
We are,
and we're very comfortable with ourselves in front of a mirror. There's no one we're more comfortable with than ourselves in front of a mirror, right? So, and that sort of draws you deeper, because I'm emulating you. Of course, people ask me, if I match and mirror someone, won't they know? Won't they feel funny that I'm copying them? So you're not copying them. You're leaving a time lapse, and you are mirroring and matching them. You're not doing like monkey see, monkey do, no? You do this and I do this. It's very subtly done. And you don't have to match and mirror everything. You can match and mirror with, if she's got her legs crossed, I could just cross my hands like this. You know, so
Putting my hand on my chin.
yeah, and so you know, I
Put
could
on
just
the
do
chin.
this. You see,
Right.
I'm kind of matching you when I'm talking to you, but very, very subtly.
Right. Is it possible to build a rapport with someone that maybe you've had a misunderstanding with? Like perhaps you had a loss of trust in that relationship. How do you build a good rapport and kind of start over?
Okay. As I said earlier, one of the fundamental things about rapport is sharing values. Okay, so if you have been in a sort of misunderstanding with someone and trust has been lost, trust is a value. Trust is a value that's fundamental to all relationships. Okay, meaningful relationships. So I would advocate instead of going to the person and just trying to get into rapport with them by matching and mirroring, that's one thing you could do as a start. But I would advocate having a frank talk with that person and saying, look, I think we need to talk about things. Maybe we got off to a wrong start, or maybe I've done something to offend you. I'm really sorry about it, but there has to be a sincerity in wanting to bridge that relationship.
Right, that's actually a brilliant way to solve problems. Talking, that is very important.
And we don't talk enough, you know.
We don't.
We're Asians. We're just always
Yeah.
a bit averse to confronting a situation. We don't have that culture.
And honestly, technology did not make it any better. You know, sometimes we're comfortable texting a person on Facebook.
I'm sorry, on Facebook.
But you
know.
look at them in real life like, oh my God, can I just become one with the wall? That's what
Yeah,
happens.
that's
now,
right.
what if I'm a sort of person who's quiet and shy? How do I get over, you know, like natural reservedness to build rapport?
Well, you can build rapport by matching someone's physiology. I've done it, you know, I've done it across a crowded room. Sometimes I do this for fun. I'm sitting in the LRT and I'm watching someone in the corner and they might not be making eye contact with me and I'm bored. I don't have a book to read. So I just start matching and mirroring them. And after a while, they just look up and they look at me. So if you're kind of a shy person at a party, you're not the type who would go up to someone or introduce yourself to people. I don't think either one of you ladies would have that problem, neither would I think, right? But if you're really a typically shy person, you could just sit where you are and pick one person that you feel you might want to go and talk to and just match and mirror them for a while. And then when you actually they might look up and make eye contact at you, and then you can smile and then you can approach them to talk to them. Right? So that's one way of coming out of your shell to get to know people. Yeah? So many of us didn't start off being very, vivacious and friendly. You know, at some point in time, when you go into a function and you see some people who are very awe-inspiring, you're like, how am I going to go and talk to them? So this is one way that you could do it, actually. Yeah, make eye contact, smile, match and mirror them for a while. And actually that rapport is being built at a very unconscious level. Now, a lot of things that we're doing in terms of relationships and instinctively knowing when to do something. For example, you stepping out onto the road and you don't know that there's a car or a motorbike coming and something pulls you back. That something is yourself. That's actually the unconscious mind that's telling you there's danger. So rapport, deep rapport, actually happens at a very unconscious level.
Okay.
Does this happen subconsciously when you're actually attracted to a person and you start to mirror? Is that also a
It
sign
could happen,
to look out
yeah.
for?
It could happen unconsciously that you see someone, you're attracted to them, either in a male female way or even as friends. You just see someone, you're like, I want to get to know that person, and then at some point you unconsciously begin to mirror, or consciously or unconsciously. Some people tell me, how do we consciously match and mirror? And it's like, seems a bit fake, but everything when you start, when you're going against the grain of your natural self, it's a bit hard. It's like stepping out of your comfort zone, even complimenting people. We're really not a society that compliments people easily, right? Because when we were small, we when people try to compliment us, our parents will say, no, don't tell her she's too clever, she's too beautiful, and she'll get very big in the head.
Or a response will be, tak adalah, mana ada.
Yeah, or someone says, oh, that's a beautiful dress. This old thing, I bought it for $50 at a sale. Instead of saying thank you, right? We do that. So kind of like we negate people's, the gifts people, a compliment is a gift. So we need to learn to give compliments. And when the first time you do it, if you don't come from a culture of doing it, it's like a bit strange. Or what would people think of me? I'm saying nice things to them. They think I want something, or they think I'm being fake. But if you keep doing it, then it becomes a habit. Everything that you do becomes a habit. Going to the gym the first time is painful. After a while, becomes a habit. So it's the same with rapport.
Right. Now, building rapport is one thing, but how do I keep a relationship going healthy?
Well, building rapport is to initially kind of break down those barriers at an unconscious level and to, get into that area of sharing values. I believe that keeping relationships going requires an investment on the side of both parties. Relationships last because of constant connection, connectivity, the effort made by both sides. Now, I'm sure many of you have friends like that who keep in touch and you feel good, you don't talk to them for a couple of months and they're like, hey, what's up with you, And it feels good for you to know that they care. But sometimes you also have friends who you call them, let's go out, let's do this, and they're like, oh, we're too busy, we're too this, and at some point the relationship just goes off. So it requires investment, whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a working relationship, even with clients. Don't just go in, sell your product and then walk away, they like it, you walk away. Even if they don't require anything else from you and you're not selling anything else to them, just once in a while a card or, dropping by and saying, are you free for lunch? Because all human transactions, all business transactions boil down fundamentally to the relationship between two people.
And there's a lot of elements that go into making a relationship work, and hopefully maybe there's a next time you could come and talk to us about that too.
Absolutely.
If you want to hear about that, you got to email us vbuzz@astro.com.my.